Welcome back to Soul Days. All right, let's get it started. We're looking at the Bitcoin chart as we always do at the beginning. Coming out right out the gate this morning, seeing some green candles, but we are still following our channel here. And we're trying to bounce back in. I circled this off. Nothing's changed over the past several days on this chart. We're still looking at 5 to possibly conclude. Is it going to happen? Let's see. But exciting times ahead. Some really interesting news. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart on the 4-hour. So I'm banking off of this 32-degree trend angle. I'm using off of the drop off here on a downtrend. I'm not going to scale up on an uptrend, although I can see some patterns here really nicely. I love these waves. Look at that. It's like an ocean swell rolling in. You can smell the salt. But so I believe we can use this as a nice guide here. I gave us a second possibility here. And as we've been talking about, we're going to bounce around. But we're looking for lead channels here. We're looking for lead diagonals. And that'll continue to knock us off and round out number 5 on the wave. So at the end of yesterday's show, I scribbled out a likely pattern for which way lunacy could go here. I'm not going to call it reading the tea leaves here. It was this, this was a straight scribble, but I kind of wish I just finished it off here going straight up. But, none of this was here before that. So at the end of the show, we were at this green and red candle tweezer here. And I was mapping out likely where we'd go. And I pitched this fork here. And, there's no way I'm going straight up on the channel line. So this is really, I would say we're hitting some sell-off zone already right now as far as time goes. Yesterday at this time, and this shot through the roof, so pretty cool. This is a lunacy chart, and lunacy has been trending. Another look at Sol here. So same thing. Nothing's changed on this Sol chart. We're looking at the 1 day right here. This is giving you somewhat of a bird's eye view also on Bitcoin. If Solana's following, I don't see any indication it's going to break off just yet. Although we got some great news for Solana overall in the past week. More infrastructure buying, more institutional buying in. Solana just keeps building, and that's awesome to see. And Solana NFTs, getting fun again. I mean, not that it wasn't always fun, but really nice to see some strong activity occurring on NFTs again. That's gonna be one critical factor in bringing confidence back into the market. So, however, I am on this channel. We've been looking at 5 to finish off, and you can see some volume spikes here and where they're occurring, and you can make some reference to what's happening there. On the bulls, you can see why there's a lead trend here on the diagonals. And although this is an impulse market, so you're going to see a lot of, every little buy-in and sell-out is going to have an effect in this sort of environment. Take a different view on the Solana on the 1 day. So I went ahead and scribbled this out too a couple days ago. Let's see if it follows. I'm being I hate to say it, but maybe a little generous here on this hump. But watch out for these channels here. And we've been mapping out, and I think we're on schedule overall for the beginning weeks of September. So if you look down at the bottom, beginning weeks of September, on the high side, taking us back to the mid 30s, and on the lower end, quite possibly taking us down to the mid 20s. I charted that out a little differently here, or maybe not. Well, we talked about it in a few shows ago, about 5 drawing off, finishing off, and possibly taking us into the mid 20s. And there were a lot of worst case scenario talks about a week ago on Solana. I saw a lot of talk about $10 prices for Solana on Twitter, but that's Twitter. Okay, so Plato coin is an interesting platform. It's a GameFi game with NFTs, and it's been popping off lately. And I wanted to highlight this project because I can't figure out what's going on there. It must be some kind of inner ecosystem thing going on with maybe returns. Maybe NFTs hit a bit of an arbitrage type scale, so you could sell off NFTs you're earning in game. I'm not gonna speculate too much because I really don't know, but I was, just for the sake of it, I went ahead and patterned this out, and drawing this chart here. Not even the Luna Classic chart was showing this. So I thought this was interesting because it kind of mapped out right into this channel here. Although I'd be careful about what's really happening there, because not to bring down this project. If you're in, go ahead and comment and tell me I'm wrong. So this is the PlatoFarm.game site, and so the last 30 days, we're seeing that capital track really well, and that's relating to the chart we're seeing now. But 7 days, now you're seeing, I guess, what might be considered a realistic view here in the last 24 hours. We have volume really pulling back here. So, in comparison to the daily active users, what's happening right now? Is it just time frame? Maybe there's regional players, and this is a certain time of the day or week for players in certain regions. I don't know, but this cannot relate too well to this chart really carrying out. So we may have seen some opportunity type buy-in, some motivational buy-in, impulse market buy on the coin, showing some possibility. And I think we're in a sell-off market as of late. So whenever we're going to see some strong impulses, we're also going to see some nice drawback. And if you're in the mix, could be a good time to make some plays on those sorts of moves. Here you have on CoinMarketCap, Plato. That's something I wanted to take a really close look at if we're looking at charts and trading. So jumping forward to the news on Solana. If you're a Solana person, you might have heard this, but Helium Network looking to expand itself by using the Solana blockchain. I think it's a good choice, really good choice. It's not the first time Helium has used another blockchain to provide further network usage. They've given a hand at their own. They've used IO and mobile, so none of those are nearly as big as Sol. So this could be really interesting, and I think this is a little bit more important for Helium than Solana. I'm gonna be curious to see how this affects Solana's performance. Although it's a good opportunity for developers inside of Solana already to scale out their activity, and we talked about security and wallets yesterday, and connectivity and further Web3 type dApps. expanding on Solana and using direct to, improving governance overall. And that should all reflect as more information on Solscan. So this will be good to see how it provides for more landscape for developers already on Solana to, continue growing, continue developing, just more opportunity for the Sol ecosystem. Overall, I think it's benefiting Helium a little more than Sol right now, but that's great. That's a good thing, and I think Helium made a great choice moving to Solana. A lot of developer activity on Solana, as we know, and that's why we're bullish on Sol. So I pulled up some small information on Helium. You can find some pretty good summary detail on the network move and how it's going to happen if you want to do a deep dive on that. Okay, I'd like to accompany this with the Bitcoin chart we've been drawing out. I think this is a bit of news here, that difficulty on Bitcoin mining continues to increase, and you can see some somewhat strong correlation on price. So I have market cap pulled up here, which really equates to price, but we can check price too. So what we're looking at was market cap, and this is price. So the flat lines, square lines are difficulty, and the rough lines are price. And you can see where we have drop off. It'll reflect in price coming down, and then when you have difficulty, or in other words, miners showing interest in holding. I think that's more key to understand there. Now we have a move up. And so even though we're trading here sideways and difficulty hasn't changed, more or less, maybe even increasing, what's happening here is that we don't have as much of a scale off on difficulty, but we have more of a reflection on price. So this is really what we've been talking about here, is that a lot of the outside noise has been affecting crypto and just all financial markets. And you could really, this kind of really outlines more clearly how much our prices are getting priced in. So all of this news, all of this macro stuff, all of the noise is really pricing in stocks and crypto. So as this is becoming this is turning into a market that's ready to make some moves. And I pulled this one up because I saw some news about Shiba, and I thought it was interesting timing, and it somewhat correlates to the news I've been seeing recently with the Ethereum merge. So I saw a lot of headlines about ETH whales moving ETH to exchange, and I thought, immediately, I kind of thought that was just like some scare tactic, really. You want to go ahead and sell before the merge. Merge is already showing success, so it depends on how you want to play it. I mean, you can sell. ETH overall is down compared to what we saw it potentially could achieve, at about 4,000. Although 1,500 right now is a really nice price. So it depends on what you want to do with it, right? But ETH 2.0 is going to happen. We don't know when. Supposedly there's, according to Vitalik, there's going to be an announcement in September. Could that announcement be that ETH 2.0 is ready, or is it just an announcement that he made? So I thought this was very, very similar to that sort of news with the ETH merge. SHIB whales moving a lot of SHIB to exchange and actually selling off. Yeah. And this is really well timed with a lot of metaverse launches. and some more public activity on SHIB. So we have SHIB Eternity going live with their gaming in Germany and other real world type marketing events. And also Bone potentially getting listed now on Binance. Bone, we saw a really nice run up. And not too long ago, SHIB reportedly going to be supported on the Binance card. That is going to be massive. And we see Binance Pay growing its partnerships every other week. So I thought that this SHIB sell-off is a bit of a wag, and I'm, so I would play it by ear. It depends at this point. Short term we're reaching a sell-off market, but long term this market is extremely motivated and it's ready to make some moves. We are seeing on the charts that we are looking for a number 5 wave coming down to confirm. It's a possible 3 there, but they're both going to take us in a somewhat similar direction. So I'm not, nobody's saying wait. Always just be patient and do your own research. Although this is a market that's heating up. So the coil is, the spring is recoiling, and we're getting a lot of development news, a lot of institutional buys. You're gonna have to dig a little to find that sort of news, unless for whatever reason, as we've been talking about with the ETH 2.0 merge, it makes headlines. And in light of, talking about Terra Classic on here, talking about SHIB, I know it's a bit funky. If you're not into those low caps, and there's a good reason why you wouldn't be, with low caps, you have low entry. So you're not going to have deep pockets. Deep pockets need to really be convinced to get into low caps. And at a certain point, if someone was comfortable buying, a million SHIB for $20, are they going to buy one SHIB for $20? So you start to see a ceiling there on confidence on low caps. And with that, I wanted to talk about Fantom, because Fantom is one. If you follow my Twitter, I've been talking about Fantom and Dot every now and then. I like Fantom. I used to not be so big on Dot, but I think this is a different market right now. I do think we kind of switched. There's a different element to this cycle, and I think Fantom is something to watch here. And I'll bring up a couple points, but overall, Fantom is a very, very capable chain. It's very similar to Solana in some ways. The developer, what's most important is the developer ecosystem on Fantom has stayed strong and more or less been there from very early on. The developer base on Fantom is solid. Fantom has a really well built out NFT platform, in my opinion. It could use more activity for sure to fill up the UI, the screen. And I think there's some really quality artists overall on Fantom's NFT platforms. So those are really important, in my opinion, to look at when you're looking at taking a ground level view at infrastructure investing on certain blockchains and layer ones. And I don't think Fantom should be left out here. So I'm pulling up CoinCodex on here. It gives you some pretty easy automated quick looks at indicators on the chart here. If you want to just use an AI to give you a guide, but don't use this as something to finalize your decision. But let's fast forward to this. So cryptofees.info. Here, I think fees are the biggest indicator of network activity. It's more strongly suited to identifying direct influence on price. You have Ethereum up here, Binance, Bitcoin. The purple, you often see DEXs and things like that, and platforms related to a certain chain. Polygon, Solana. Solana always fluctuating, often sometimes above Polygon. Binance will often follow or fall below Solana too. So we have Avalanche next up. This is good to see for Avalanche staying strong in light of the recent news. And Cardano. Next we have Fantom. So Fantom coming in above Near, above Polkadot, above Ripple, so above Gnosis chain, So I really believe Fantom is very, very undervalued. It's not going to take very much for Fantom to really, really make a move here. You can make the argument that there's not a lot going on Fantom, but what is going on Fantom is very action packed, man. Spooky swap. This is clearly their main DeFi on Fantom, and Fantom is almost exclusively used for DeFi. You see Spell here coming in on Fantom as a number 2 traded through that chain. So if Fantom begins to take in one, either more developers, or two, maybe more successful dApps, active users could really start ticking up on Fantom, and you could possibly see some new names popping up on this list in the next few months or so, especially when we're forecasting to go into a nice run coming up. But anything could happen. We're also hearing extra news coming out of Russia with the pipeline and other things like that. So we did discuss possibility of more extreme macro events really kind of tearing into the market even more. If that doesn't happen, and I don't think it will, and I hope not. So I'm one to believe that Fantom is following a bit in the footsteps of Solana here. Fantom in the gold, Solana in the gray. You see how they're somewhat playing off of each other. So when Fantom spikes, Solana pulls back. And I don't think that when Fantom finally gets fully developed here, or takes on more dApps, more developers, I don't think that Fantom will interrupt with the Solana network or chain. I think this is just a matter of layer ones, main blockchains battling here. And this is more of an indication that Fantom can compete. Looking at a little bit of a more deeper dive type news on Fantom. So there's a lot of interesting people looking at Fantom. And what I like to do is sometimes compare what's being mentioned in the same sentence as a possible investment. So we have Fantom, being named alongside Polygon. Fantom Uniglo is going on a presale right now. I'm actually going to talk about it a little bit. So Fantom, it's not totally underlooked, but it's definitely undervalued. Lido doing really well. And that brings me to Uniglo, going on its pre-sale today. Really interesting. A social currency backed by a basket of assets that includes NFTs. We see here pictures of Bored Apes, Axie Infinity. They already got some stable coins on board. So this treasury will be multi-vaulted on several different blockchains. Ethereum, Binance, Polygon, Solana. I believe they have more partnerships coming. That includes Shiba and Doge. It'll be a treasury fund where you'll be able to trade NFTs and other tokens on this exchange, and possibly see other DeFi platforms being launched on Uniglo, in which you can use stable coins to possibly trade for NFTs on any one of these chains named here. If that could be achieved, it's on the roadmap. It could be big. So Uniglo, continue to see all kinds of macro news occurring. Our latest one is a tax evasion from DC, Washington, DC, on our very own Michael Saylor, former CEO of MicroStrategies. More negativity, more scrutiny on crypto overall. And don't get distracted. Look for the real signs, right? We're looking for the institutional buy-ins. We're looking for what's really happening behind the scenes. Yesterday, I talked about an executive switch on Genesis and Galaxy Digital, some massive investors in both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Galaxy Digital being the #1 holder of Ethereum and the top 15 holder of Bitcoin. And we have some news coming out of Reddit, about the NFTs. And so you see here, one of the co-founders, his own venture capital, is looking for funding to enter crypto. More Thailand news. Recently, Thailand's own SEC had issued several different licenses to purchase on a state level cryptocurrency. And maybe this is a bit of a backup news here article on a pullout of a purchase of BitCub. It could be that they're just looking for other options. More investment coming out of Japan. Japan's a huge, major player in crypto. That they've been trying to integrate digital currency into the into Japan's daily life. But as much as we believe Japan is very contemporary, their day-to-day society, their day-to-day living is very strongly traditional. So this is interesting to see, and an interesting development there out of Japan. Mobile Break, the Digidaigaku NFT on Ethereum shot up to above 1 ETH floor. It was a free mint. I even called it on my Twitter. But we talked about yesterday CZ addressing some of the concerns he might have with GameFi and free to earn, free to play NFTs on Ethereum especially. So more news coming out of Limit Break. Really good to see though overall. Some investing occurring in NFTs. Yep. So this is this is what we're going to see in these sort of markets, is a lot of macro negativity kind of leading the way on the more mainstream news platforms, and otherwise you'll find a lot of really good news coming out of infrastructure development in crypto and blockchain itself. Institutions continue to buy in. Major financial players continue to progress in regulation and looking at crypto-related activities and seeing how they can enter the market. We saw FedNow trying to adopt an instant payment strategy. So the world is recognizing the power that blockchains offer, and the structure and the organization that cryptocurrency provides to blockchain technology. So we talked about Meta taking NFTs to Facebook. So they started out possibly as a test subject on Instagram, and now it's been officially announced that Facebook or Meta will be using NFTs or allowing digital assets to be recognized on the Facebook platform. And one of those NFTs or NFT chains that would be instantly recognized on Facebook was Flow, the NFTs on Flow chain, on Flowbase. And here we go. So Flow pumping up on active users. Quite possibly, there's been some knowledge on what was coming here. This is back in April. The post-pump news, trying to be ahead. Find what's happening on infrastructure, find your favorite chain, learn more about it. Transactions on Flow pumping. Really nice uptick here. Really great. So, all right. What do you guys think? A lot happening. A lot to look forward to. let's take a quick look what's going on Magic Eden. It's a lot of NFTs. ABC floor is just flying. Awesome. Really cool stuff here with Solana NFTs as of the last 2 or 3 days. Just really nicely retaining value, retaining volume. This is really good to see. You know, for the past almost the past year, or at least several months, it's been a survivor's market. You know, so a bit rough if you sold your ABCs, took profits, but hey, it's what we've been conditioned to do, is take profits, right? We've been scalping 0.1s, 0.01s even, yeah, to survive that apocalyptic period with Solana NFTs just wrecking you, wrecking me. You know? So this is awesome. This is great to see. I'm getting excited. This is fun. And so Nice Mice, I didn't know anything about this. I guess I've been pretty busy with getting some content out there and doing some other things, building up my Alpha DAO and other things like that. But so I really like rat mouse projects. And unfortunately though, every single one of my mice and rat projects that I've bought into, Solana and Ethereum, have rugged or were slow rugs. So this was a 0.069 mint for public. I think it was a free mint for whitelisted. And here we are, maybe no more than a day later, above 1 SOL. This is pretty cool. So if you minted on free mint or even on the public, right on. Nice move. I'll come back to this project, and I'll be trading this most likely. See if I can get in on a nice price here. I'll be watching it. Hopefully it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not gonna speculate too much on that. Let's let it keep it pumping here. But I like this. Pretty cool. Mouse projects hit home for me. Really nice market for crypto if you want to get in now. Not just on the meme type low caps. Although, you know, I'd argue again, Shiba's not a meme coin. It's got a lot going on surrounding Shiba. A lot to look forward to there. I do think that they're doing enough to percolate some big money years and at least draw in some big hands at the onset right now with what they're doing. Locksmith Labs pumping up again. I think just a few days ago, or maybe a week or two ago, Locksmith was at a 50 SOL floor, pulled back pretty hard. I think that's probably like more than a 50% pullback from where it was, you know, a handful of months ago, 100 plus SOL floor. So this floor is extremely thin here, you know, talking about 83 and a jump up to about 120. Nice activity happening. Dang, the Bobos. Look at that. Sportsbook betting. Coming off the wave of the Boys, which was the initial collection. This was their second collection to fund the sports booking side of the project. Minted right around the same time as Soul Bookie. I think maybe a day after. We talked about it on the show. Daisuke, a really interesting platform along the lines of trying to do a launch pad like LM NFT, Launch My NFT, free mint focused. Daisuke also launched and backed by Dictator's project. So if I'm not mistaken, if anything didn't change from the time of the mint, you could mint Daisuke project with Dictator's coin nuke. Not John Lay, which is the John Lay. He normally does one of ones off of the Solana NFT platform exchange.art. which is a one-of-one art platform focused NFT platform. Goblin Games. I waited a bit to talk about them, although you might have saw one of my Goblin NFTs in my thumbnail on a few videos ago. A project started by one of the DeGods coming out of the Solana community. The DeGod holder, may or may not have heard of him, Bill fucking Murray. So I jumped into this project. He was estimating that it'd take about a month after the mint to launch the 5 games on the casino he was planning, but he did it in less than 3 days. So he launched 5 games for the Goblin Games casino in less than 3 days after mint. One of them being Crash. It works, everything works. It worked right out of the gate. This may have been at the tail end of the casino meta. We do see some casino games stick around for the long term. Let's see if Goblin Games can do it. The boys bounced back pretty nicely. Almost 1 soul 4. It's down to 0.2 for a little bit. Legion of Soul apparently just started making payouts. So we're seeing the reflection in price on the floor here. I got out of this project. It was kind of unclear to me when the staking rewards would be released. So, but if you're not too familiar with the project, I won't deep dive really, but just really quickly, rewards are going straight to your wallet, kind of like a payout, like a royalty payout. So, and I believe it is in the form of soul. So you're gonna get a soul payout. But I like Legion of Soul. There was nothing really against the project. There was no reason for me to get out in that regard. So nice to see them doing well above the mint price and stuff. Lost Pirates, a bit undervalued, but I'd like to see a little bit more activity from them. But definitely undervalued. Really nice art. They got a nice AR treasure hunt thing going. Lurkers coming back a little. Maleficus holding strong in that 0.2 area. At some point, that project will probably break through. That community is crazy. They're really into that project. They really like the founder. Founder seems super fun, really engaged. Could be some good things ahead for Maleficus. Might be a really good buy-in point if you're interested. Popheads, once rugged, came back with a Crash type gambler, recovering really nicely there. Ronin on a nice run here, almost 2 soul. Nice. Pixel Minds, massive pullback. Right out of the gate, this went to like 20 soul. This was a free mint too. Otherworld, one-of-one artist back project. Got Kiff, the community leader, really engaged guy with Solana NFTs community. Pretty fun and funny to see him active in other discords, just like another DJ, getting in there, getting nitty and gritty with the community. Yeah, if you see KIF out there, give him a shout out. You might not even expect that he's really doing really well, holding down the floor in the as a community manager in this Otherworld project. But I know he's having fun. Pixel Puffs, man, I almost caught this project at a really nice pullback at 0.5, but that you guys bought this thing up straight to almost 2 soul right away. But I was really looking forward to getting a couple of these. A little hard for me to buy 1 soul, but I might just do it anyway. But I like that project because it seems like a lot of people do too. For one big reason, and you know, I kind of like the Powerpuff Girls cartoon. I grew up watching Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls and stuff like that. So, plus I got some girls in the family. I always make excuses for buying any kind of NFT, and if it means that I have to use that there's girls in the family to buy extra NFTs, so be it. shrimps. You know, we're looking at shrimps around here. Really, really fun art. Really nicely done too. Shrimp community is a lot of fun. Hopping in the Discord's kind of wild. Yeah, I'm glad. And I like the art. So, just a bit of a browsing period on Magic Eden platform, Solana NFTs. Very risky, but hopefully not, and hopefully not from here. I'd like to get a good run on Solana NFTs going. Been around for quite a while, so I'm excited to see what happens from here because you know, learning and seeing what came before, and maybe possibly before I arrived on Solana NFTs, and even though I've been in Solana NFTs for a little more than a year now, pretty much a year. Fun times ahead. If you're out there trading NFTs, looking into good crypto projects to get into, good blockchains that will grow significantly, or looking to make a trade, have fun, be safe. See you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.